Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today, I have a subscriber out of Missouri who came on and wants to share her 2 experiences that she has had. Before we get into those, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch store, hopefully very soon, to help the channel to continue to grow and grow. Those links are in the description below. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1, 2, and 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's upload. Shall we? All right, everybody. Today I have a subscriber who reached out within a year from today, and she shared her encounter. It's very memorable for you guys who have heard it, and you will realize why, because it's on top of being terrifying. It's just altogether strange with the person who was with her. I'm going to introduce you guys to Angel. Angel, how are you today?
Good. I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you for taking some time out of your day to come on and share your 2 experiences with us.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you being patient, and you've emailed me a while ago, and like
Yes.
I said, I was going to get to all of them, and you're the first to get to. So I'm gonna right now shut up, and I'm gonna turn the mic over to you so you can share your 2 experiences with us.
Okay, yeah. So, in the summer of the year 2010, I had just gotten married to my now ex-husband, and we lived in Versailles, Missouri. And there is one picture, but we were outside smoking. We both smoked at the time, and he said to me, "Do you hear that?" And I was like, "No." And he goes, "Oh my God, big black dog." And he pushes me down the stairs. There's only 3 stairs. You'll see in the picture. And he goes inside and locks himself in. Well, there's a long sidewalk from the detached garage to the house. And all I hear is what sounds like a horse with 4 or 5-inch claws. It's completely dark. It's 11:30 at night. And it's so dark, I can't see anything except for like a shadow. And like I said, sounds like a horse with claws. Just like, boom, 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 like it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. I'm down the stairs. So I'm standing at this point, and it breezes past me and my car so fast that it knocks me on my butt. And then I stand up, and I'm like shocked after it's passed. So I go down to the driveway, and I look right, I look left, I look left, I look right. I'm looking. I didn't think to look up because, again, at the time, I have never heard of a Dogman, and there's nothing there. And I'm like, okay, I'm crazy. I'm crazy, So anyway, I come back to the door, and I'm like, hey, let me back in. And he's like, that was a really big dog. And I'm like, not really. I mean, I have a Great Dane, and she's never knocked me on my butt like that. So I'm really confused on why you would lock me outside.
Right.
Right. And then so
Now,
that was the year of,
when you guys were standing, was he standing above you on the stairs? So how was he able to see it?
So we're standing side by side on the
Okay.
picture that you have. We're standing side by side on those stairs.
Yep.
And I wasn't paying attention because I don't know why. I really don't. I mean, like, who's listening for something that big, right?
Right.
So, like I said, we're standing side by side, and I'm 5'6", less than 100 pounds. And at the time, he's 6'4", almost 300 pounds. And we're side by side. We're both smoking. Like I said, it's 11:30. We smoke outside, never in the house. And he just all of a sudden is like, oh my God, big black dog, and like pushes me down those 3 stairs. And then here I am. I'm like standing there like, what? Because I mean, who does that, right? So I'm thinking, okay, here I am standing, and then I hear boom, 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 like this huge, huge thing with, like I said, I swear if I could describe it to you in any other words, it would just be a horse with really big, like claws, like Freddy Krueger claws.
Right.
And it's a cement sidewalk from that detached garage, and it's like boom, boom, boom. Like I said,
so you could hear the clicking of the claws on that cement, right?
The clicking, I'll never forget. It still gives me nightmares to
I'm
this day.
sure it
I can't
does.
forget it. It's in my head. It scares me still to this day. And it's just like, in your head, not knowing what it was at the time, but knowing that obviously it wasn't a big black dog. Duh.
Right.
Um,
Right. And
you didn't know what it was.
there was no eye shine. It was just like you explained it to me. You said it was just black, but it was blacker than the black.
It was blacker than night. It's
Yeah.
11:30 at night, and this thing was so black. And like I said, no sound, no snarling, no growling, no eyes, no nothing. It looked like a huge, I
Hmm.
mean, huge shadow. But it sounded like Freddy Krueger on all fours. Like I said, the claws were, it sounded like a horse with claws. I mean, it
Right.
was so terrifying. And
So
to this day, I can still hear it in my head. And I mean, it just literally gives me the chills. It's terrifying.
right. No, absolutely. So where it came from, it was coming from the roadway or what was behind you? Where how was it coming? Because you ran out to the road. So was it going toward the
Right.
road?
So where it came from me, I had a detached garage from the house, and
Okay.
behind that detached garage was a gravel alleyway, and normally you could hear anything back there: cats, raccoons, possum, yada yada yada. It didn't
Right.
matter. I didn't hear anything before he announced big black dog.
Hmm.
So it's just like just a gravel pathway behind the detached garage, and it wasn't till I was pushed down the stairs that I actually heard like that thing coming at you. But again, I turned to my right, looking right at it, and I can't see anything but blacker than
Right.
black because it's 11:30 at night, and nothing. I don't know. And like I said, yeah, it breezed past me, and the picture between the stairs and my car at the time, you'll see there's not much space between us, and I did fall. I landed on my bottom, and then
Yeah, like 5 feet. I mean, it literally could have it went around you because it was either going to step on you or go around you, but there was not a lot of room for it to go around you.
Yeah, no, not a lot of room at all. And see, that's what scared me the most is you're hearing these claws on the cement and this thing's coming at you, and you're like, what kind of big black dog would that be?
Right.
And so you're scared, and so it comes past you, and then like I said, I feel like I wasn't on my butt that long. Really, honestly, I really don't. I could have been. I don't know. I don't think so. But I stood up as fast as I could. I ran to the end of my driveway, and I looked right and then left and then right and then left again. And there's nothing there.
Mm.
Nothing there. And I'm in the middle of that street. So what I'm saying is like if it weren't fast or if it were slow or heavy, you would think that by looking left and right, left, you would see something.
Yeah,
There
there
was
would be some
nothing
sort of
there.
sign and where you're kind of in a rural area, so there's not like you don't have woods in your backyard, there's not woods across the street. Where would be the closest wooded area from where you would have been?
The closest would have area from where I would have been at least 8 to 10 miles away. I
Okay.
mean, we're in the middle of the town. We're in the middle of the square of this town.
Is there like a riverbed in that area or like a creek bed, something?
No, not until um which my second problem it was down J Highway, and that's again 8 to 10 miles away, and
Okay.
that's when I had my second issue, as far as him locking himself inside.
Right. Right. Okay. So there's like no really wood. So he that whatever that was just hauled to, kind of make its appearance or, maybe it was chasing something, I don't know, but it's definitely a terrifying encounter. On
Yes,
two avenues, one you're with your husband who's supposed to protect you and he just launches you out like your prey. And then
right.
this humongous creature just runs by you and I can't imagine what you were thinking. I mean, that's just insanity. Um, so then you move about what 8 to 10 miles out of the rural area, back out further out into the country, right?
Yes, we moved in the year 2014 to a very rural. We had 88 acres by ourselves on a home that you had basically had to cross. hopefully if it was dry, you would have to drive through it with 4-wheel drive, but you would get through it by driving a 4-wheel drive through a creek bed essentially and making your way up there. And again, it was another night. It was summer. It wasn't cold or anything. We were outside, we were smoking, and he picks up all these rocks and he starts throwing them into the woods, which we're surrounded by essentially. And I told him, I said, huh, wouldn't you like crap your pants if like the rocks came flying back at you? And he's like, huh? And I was like, I'm serious. Stop throwing rocks. Like, this is rude. There's a river, like a riverbed or creek bed, whatever you want to call it, surrounding the property. Please don't throw rocks. Like, that's just rude. And he's like, well, why not? I said, wouldn't you shit your pants if the rocks came flying back at you? And all of a sudden, within 3 feet of him comes all these rocks. And again, like the Sally that he is, he locks himself inside between himself, a big door and a screen door, and I'm left out there.
Right.
And I felt like so much peace. I really wasn't scared. I don't know. Again, I don't know what it was, and
Right.
I don't know. But in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, that's what you get. But at the same time, I wasn't scared. I didn't run and hide. I felt complete peace, and he's sitting in the window of the door like, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, okay, because I'm just gonna finish my cigarette now,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if they know who we are, if they smell me, smell him. I don't know if they were after him.
Yeah.
But
Well, like me and you had talked and prior to this, and I said maybe it recognized his fear. Maybe it was just traveling through. Or it may have been something completely different. It may have been, a Sasquatch. Could have been the same Dogman. We don't know because, you didn't see it, but it's kind of messed up that his first instinct is, as a man, is to throw his wife to the wolves, no pun
yeah,
intended, you know, um,
right.
and
So
then
essentially that's why he's the ex-husband,
yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. And then I was sitting here while you and I were talking, and I got thinking, I was like, well, obviously he's done this twice. There must have been something that triggered that fear because
Right.
to have so much fear to be a bigger guy, um,
Yeah.
something must have happened. And I asked you, and you did say something happened to him when he was younger.
Yeah, so he's from Utah, and he was about 15 years old, and his parents had left for, I mean, I really don't know what they left for, but they left, and he was there alone. And he had spent some time at his friend's house, and he came back home, to eat dinner and take a shower and go to bed and whatever. And he said that he was basically just sitting down, minding his own business, when all of a sudden, like, there's this figure in the window, and it was like tapping on the glass and like tap, 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 tap. And he looked at it, and it looked back at him or whatever, and it completely freaked him out. So of course he barricades himself down and starts screaming, like, I have weapons, whatever, and then it kept doing it. And so he decided, I'm just gonna flee. I'm just gonna open the door. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run for my life. And that's what he
Right.
did. He ran from his home to a block or so down to his friend's house. His friend's name was Cliff. And go, there's a ghost at my house. And I'm thinking, I don't really think it's a ghost at this point.
Right. Right. Definitely
Yeah.
not. Now, and then during this time, you have no idea what you experienced. You get
No.
divorced and meet your new husband. Your new husband says, "Hey, I think you had a Dogman experience." And
Yeah, so I got divorced, and I met my new husband, and I was explaining it to him. We were just talking about random things. I was telling him, he's like, I think you had a Dogman experience. And I know you don't know who this is, but I'm a huge Jeffrey Nolly fan. And I was like, okay. And he goes, I listen to him every night before I go to bed. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever, And then he's like, I want you to listen to a couple things. And so I listened, and I was like, oh my gosh. And he's like, you might want to contact him and see what he thinks. And I was like, okay, so I did. I didn't know what it was at the time. Again, I'm being told just like big black dog, You're down the
Yeah.
stairs. I hope you die or whatever, you know? And it's like, please tell me what dog on the face of this planet that you know that is big enough with claws that loud that could knock me on my butt.
Right.
Please.
Right. No, I
Right.
agree. It's
Exactly.
now you said that after you had heard about a Dogman and that it kind of you started to remember noises and different things um you, at that location and at the other location that you had heard. Was there any other like noises or stuff that you had kind of were brought back to your memories after that?
Yeah, so at the first location where I was pushed down the stairs, we had what they call a bonus room. That is your basically attic slash if you have 1,000 kids. I don't have kids, but
Right.
that's where you'd put them, I guess. But it was like it always sounded like something was like walking on the roof or something like that. And I would ask him about it, and he'd go, "Oh, that's settling. It's settling because the hot and cold. Because Missouri is horrible about hot and cold." And so I was like, okay, fine, okay. But this was after the whole thing, and I was just like, okay. Same thing at the other location that we lived at. It was like you would hear these things. Like, I swear to you, it sounded like either somebody was throwing small pebbles at the glass,
Mm-hmm.
or I guess now looking back in hindsight, it could have been like, like tapping on the glass or whatever. And I'm like, what is that? He's just like, it's just settling. It's settling. That's what they do. This is what buildings do. And I'm like, okay.
Right. And that 88 acres, was that a lot of just, was it fields or was it woods or a mixture of both or?
Are you talking about the second location?
Yeah, yeah.
So we were on 88 acres by ourselves. There was two buildings, the home and then the 3-car detached garage again. But it was 88 acres by ourselves. There was nobody within that 88 acres.
Right. No, I said was it all fields or was it woods and
Yeah, it's
fields?
nothing but trees. Nothing but trees. I mean, trees upon trees upon trees, and maybe a deer stand here and there.
Right.
But other than that, no, there's no nothing, no roads. Like I said, you had to drive through a creek, literally, no joke. You had to drive through a creek to get to our home at the time of those 88 acres that we were living on.
Mm-hmm.
And this was not even, let's see, we got married in 2010. We probably moved out there in 2013. So, yeah, I mean, it was literally, there was nobody within miles. And it was nothing but trees upon hills, upon trees and gravel. And that was it, and a creek.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's just, I mean, that's after your first encounter, experience. That must have been terrifying too. To be out there, but like you said, you felt at peace. So that's strange too. There was no kind of terror for you.
Right. Like, I was totally scared the first time because, like
Mm,
I said, I
who
mean,
wouldn't be?
this is the middle of the city, and you're like, you get knocked on your butt. So you stand up, like I said, as fast as I felt like I could, and you're looking right, left, left, right, left, right. There's nothing there. But then it's like, and I was scared. Like, I was scared. The hairs on my body were just like, okay, this is terrifying. And now let's try to get him to unlock the door because he's a sissy. And
Right.
I mean, we're trying to get there. But like I said, and when we moved, and the second time it happened, I wasn't scared at all. I didn't have any fear. I felt completely like nothing was wrong. Even though, I mean, psychologically, I just witnessed all these rocks flying back at him
Yeah,
after I told
an
him not to throw
unexplainable
them.
event to just happen. Like you said, 3 feet from him, like they were being aimed at him.
Right.
Is
Yeah, none of them came anywhere near me. No, they were legitimately 3 feet from him, and I wasn't scared. And I don't know what that means, and I don't know why. But it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if they're after him because they sense that he's just like not a good person. Because obviously we're divorced, so he's not a good person. But I don't know. I just wasn't scared the second time. The first time, yes, because I didn't know what. Like, I'm trying to look at this thing, and you can't see anything but blacker than black. And
right,
then,
and then just to hear the like you said, like a horse, the weight with claws
yes,
is
that was, and I can still hear that in my head today. And I do have dreams about it. But again, at the time, I'd never heard of a dog man. I had never I've kind of always believed that Squatch was real, obviously, but I never really thought. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I
Yeah.
thought, but even to this day, I still can hear. I'll wake up in the middle of the night hearing that sound of those claws on that pavement because there's no dog that I know of, and I worked in a shelter for 11 years. There's no dog that I know of that's heavy. That's heavy enough to sound like that.
Right. Right. And like you said, you had a Great Dane. So, I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
she didn't make that much noise running. So, this
No.
thing was
She
huge.
never once, yeah, and she never once knocked me on my butt. I mean, she would run like she'd act like, how dogs get hyper, they
Yeah.
run back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. She never once in all the 8 years that I had her, had she ever been strong enough to cause a breeze or blow by or whatever you want to call it, strong enough to knock me on my butt, like
Right.
at all.
Now, are you presently still living in the same area? Not in the same residence, but are in the same area? Are you around that same area still or no?
I am not.
Okay.
However, I am living in an area that is completely surrounded by, again, woods
Yep.
and a little creek that overflows, like it says, impassable during high water.
Hmm.
I can't go outside at night just because I'm scared of what I've experienced in the past and not knowing what it was, and now knowing what I think it was, obviously. I can't do it. I do have a different dog. The Great Dane sadly passed away because their hearts are too big. But I have a boxer now, and if he wants to go out at night, it's like, yeah, that's not happening because I know now I'm surrounded by trees, which obviously dogmen climb, and by a water supply, which is
Yeah.
this little creek, and I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. I'm that scared. I just can't. I can't.
No one blames you on that. I mean, like I said, when I narrated your encounter, the comments for your encounter were, and I think I shared it with like two other ones. Um, the focus on it was just for your fear, but then for your husband at the time to push you down the stairs is
Right.
just.
Yeah,
I
that was
mean,
great. Yeah.
it's an encounter that you once you hear it, you don't forget about it because you're like that poor woman. Like, what the heck
Right.
did she just go through? And then her husband is the biggest Sally on earth.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, he totally just, like I said, and you have the picture.
yeah,
The one picture, big black dog down the 3 stairs, and he locks himself inside, and he's between a big door and a screen door, and I'm outside by myself.
I
When
really,
this thing, yeah,
I really think I think he either subconsciously or consciously knew when he first saw that thing. I mean, to push you down the stairs. I'm if I was a betting man, I would say I that it brought back the memories when he was a kid and he didn't know
right,
what else to do. But still, that doesn't excuse what he did by pushing you down the
right, of
stairs,
course.
you know, which is absolutely insane. When you mentioned you were wondering if they were following him or you, it could
Uh-huh.
be, because obviously you're both afraid during that first experience.
Right.
And, our body, our hormones produce fear,
Uh-huh.
scent, and happy, and this and that. And I'm guessing that his fear sense, the scent that was given off, was so much stronger than yours because he took off running. Maybe it was, and maybe it did smell him and just wanted to kind of mess with him. I don't know because I wasn't there, and I don't
Right.
claim to be an expert at any of this, but I'm thinking possibly that could be it, or it could have been a Sasquatch or another dogman just, hey, you just threw a bunch of rocks at me. I think I'll throw these back at you now.
Yeah, I mean, I was totally joking when I said that to him because I really didn't think anything, and when I said it, I just thought it was rude because, like, where we were, like, it's a creek, and yeah, there's probably some feral dogs. Like, please don't make a ruckus. And he's throwing all these fistfuls of rocks, and I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna mess with them, and I'm gonna say, hey, wouldn't you like shit your pants, literally, if all these rocks came flying back at you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even 30 seconds later, these rocks come flying back at him within 3 feet of him, not me. I'm standing right next to him though.
Right.
And not me. And again, what does he do? He runs inside, locks the doors, and I'm left outside. But I wasn't scared this time.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I can't explain that. And no, I didn't smell anything. I have no idea how to explain that. And it's just like, I wasn't scared. I was completely at peace. I wasn't scared. I wasn't even at all terrified. I sat out there and finished my cigarette. Like, I wasn't even that scared at all. But he was, not me.
Right. Yeah. When I hear that, how you weren't scared, I mean, this is just my view of that part of the scenario here, or that part of the story, was maybe, I don't, maybe it wasn't a Dogman on that one. Maybe it was a Sasquatch, and maybe, with the infrasound that they supposedly produce, maybe it was saying, hey, even though you didn't recognize it mentally, physically, maybe it was calming your body to where, like, we're not after you. We just wanted to mess with him because he threw the rocks.
Right.
And maybe that's where that's.
I mean, like I said, that bit essentially, I was joking, and that's what I told him. I said, hey, you're throwing those rocks. What if Squatch is out there? And all of a sudden, hey, what if these rocks come flying back at you? And he's like, oh yeah, that's such crap.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, like not even 30 seconds, these rocks come flying 3 feet within him, not me.
What did he think after that? What did he say after that about the rocks?
Nothing.
He didn't have like a view or any kind of like, maybe it was.
Oh, well, he locked himself inside the big door and the screen door. And once I came back in, because like I said, I wasn't scared. I sat there and I finished my cigarette, and then I was like, hey, can you let me in? And he goes, you did that to me, didn't you? And I said, how am I going to do that to you? How am I going to throw these rocks at you when I'm standing right next to you?
Right. Like you're some sort of witch or something. You're going to.
Yeah, like I all of a sudden threw these. How am I going to do this? I'm standing right next to you before you locked yourself inside, left me out here by myself. How am I going to throw these rocks at you? Like you are trying to make sense out of something that you have no idea what you're talking about. Like, obviously I couldn't have done it.
Yeah. Now, when the first one, what was his, besides, being, the most worst husband on earth at that point, what did he say? Did he have any comments about the black dog that he saw? Did he say anything about that? Did he, that was the biggest dog, oh my God, or...
Right. So yeah. So the only thing he said to me once he actually unlocked the doors and let me back in was, you know more about dogs than I do. You've worked in a shelter for 11 years. That's all they said.
Wow.
This is why he locked me outside. And I told him, I said, look, I have a Great Dane. Like, her name is Teeny, right? She's a huge dog, right? So it's like 7'1" on her back paws. I mean, come on. You've seen this dog act crazy when I get home. Like, she runs back and forth, like crazy. Like, and she's never once caused enough draft to knock me on my butt.
Right.
Ever.
That's just, it's crazy. Ever. It's just insane. Wow. I don't know. I really, when you shared that with me, I remember saying that I wanted you to come on, and I just got bombarded with emails and life had happened. So I really appreciate you sticking with me and understanding.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I've had plenty of people try to get me on their channel. I'm like, no, I'm strictly a Dolly fan. Like, not gonna happen. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna be patient because I know you're busy with your dad and your daughter and things like that. And so like I said, we listen to you every night, so I pay attention. And
I really appreciate that. I really do. I thank you for coming on and sharing these experiences with us. It means a lot to me. Is there anything that you'd like to say to all the other subscribers out there before we end the upload?
Honestly, the only thing is, if you're ever in a place where it's dark, because dark is the scariest, I'm not going to lie, and you feel like you're seeing something that's darker than the dark, it's time to run, honestly. I mean, if I'd have known, I would have ran. but like I said, at least it didn't get me, I guess,
Right.
and there's so many things that we just don't know and that we can believe in, but it like I said, if it's dark and you have something coming at you that's darker than dark and it sounds loud, just try to get safe, because looking back on it in hindsight, knowing what I absolutely know now, I should have been terrified and I should have been afraid for my life. But for whatever reason, it just wanted to play with me instead of kill me or, whatever,
Right. Yeah.
and like I said, to this day, I still have dreams about it, and it's a mess. It is a mess because it's so scary. Like I said, I still have dreams about the sound and the looking right at it with no snarling, no eyes, no nothing, just like boom, 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 like, okay, you're gonna kill me, and it didn't. I don't know why.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said to you, I don't like if it wanted to, it would have. It obviously didn't want to. Maybe it just wanted to run through, and you guys were there. Maybe it thought it could, go through your yard, like the alleyway to, out to where it went without
Right,
being seen. Or maybe it just wanted to scare one of you guys, but thank God that it didn't want to have you be a statistic, so
right.
do me a favor before don't hang up when we end the upload, okay?
I won't.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on, and thank you once again for
Oh, no problem whatsoever. Yeah, no.
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
Wow, I can't fathom what that poor woman went through. On top of having an encounter with these terrifying creatures, she's got to deal with the fact that her husband at the time is willing to throw her to the wolves or leave her outside while a unknown creature is throwing rocks at him and her. Go figure, right? I think she made the best decision, though, by divorcing him and marrying someone that listens to my channel. No, I'm just kidding. She definitely made the right decision because I'm more than positive her new husband would not just ditch her and run for the locked door. I can't imagine doing that. When I had my encounter, I was with 4 of my friends. I'd never imagined throwing any of them to one of these creatures. I'd never imagined throwing a person I didn't like to one of these creatures. It's just it's disgusting. It's lower than low. It's lower than whale crap, as my dad says. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's upload as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and all of the support. I encourage all of us and everyone around the world to be kind to each other. And may the Great Spirit watch over all of us and guide us through our path of life. And with that, my friends, farewell.